But tell me too, I want to know, like, what do you, because I think we've come into such a self-tape world, so I guess I can open it to you guys, is what are your pros and cons about self-tapes?
Ooh, go ahead, Jade, you start.
Start off. Pros and cons about self-tapes. I would say pros are the ability to be able to do multiple takes, see what you like better, have different ways of doing it, have a whole kind of trial session with yourself, being able to do it out loud multiple times, potentially even get feedback on it before you submit, whatnot. And then the cons of it is, I believe I talked about this in another podcast as well, is you don't get that human connection in the room, because I am personable. And let's just kind of, oopsies. But anytime I go into a casting room, you turn it on and like you're super connected with the people, and you kind of make that bond, which can take you further in the whole process. So I miss the connection of being in a casting room. So that's kind of my...
Yeah, that makes sense.
Both are good and both are not so good.
Yes.
You really have to nail it on the first time, or else you can't be like, oh, can I do that again?
I know. I know. And because you also are always like, directing self-tapes and giving...
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I'll follow up on what Jade was just saying, because it's, I've had the fortune of having my kids who, obviously they have the disadvantage of having their dad who's very blunt. And I'm very honest, I believe 100%, because they're going to hear it outside. That's how, when I grew up in the 80s in New York and the casting, it wasn't a pretty place. It was very it was, it's worse than people could imagine. And, but it toughens you to the point where you're like, it's a job. Here's what I'm doing. Here's what I'm bringing to the thing. Nancy Carson and Adler Nancy Carson was my agent. I know, how's that for a minute? I love her. And anyway, so the moral of the story is, I think the best thing you can do is be super honest. Now, that being said, let's switch into self-tapes. Before, somebody would come before you or me, and we could coach them. Like you're saying, it's live. I could be like, no. The actual character is playing this, right? And we could help kind of see what the role's about. Now with self-tape, you have to guess, because you may get 2 or 3 lines, or you may get 3 or 4 pages, and you have no idea what the casting director is looking for, or what. And now I'm here, cancel me. You don't know what they're looking for visually, so you don't. So everything has to go out. So actually, and this is a true story, my son actually read for Proud Mary.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's like me reading for Black Panther. That's not going to work.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And so,
I was like,
I know. That's why.
I had to wrap my head around
right.
that.
So the reason I bring that up is they're just shoving out all these castings. The casting just goes out to every actor. And the agents are just like, let's just throw everybody at it. And then you as an actor get a role that you may, if I knew, I'd be like, I'm not going to read for this. I'm not going to waste my time. But you put hours into doing a really great tape, and then then it gets to you and you're like, no, that's not even. So there's so much
I forgot about that part, yeah.
Yeah, there's so much broken right now in the casting world.
That's so interesting.
Oh, yeah, it's like, so, and then I'm sitting here going, 90% of the time people call me up, I'm like, that's a commercial. That's a commercial for a chair. You don't come here. No offense. It's literally how you look is how you're going to book. We call it look and book. It's not your skill. If you can just do this, look at the chair. You got the job. It's not based on your actual acting abilities. It's based on how you look. Then,
like for commercially and
commercials.
That makes sense. You have to have like a form of like, you still need to maybe be animated or whatever. Like,
right. They just have to make sure you don't show up and go, hi.
Yeah, you gotta make sure you pop. For sure.
That's exactly. You've got kind of some.
Right.
So that's why, going back to the self-tape, I'm like, it's so destructive, in my opinion, because everybody needs to get in front of you, and you need to be my advocate to take me to the director, because I'm not going to look at 1,000 tapes. I trust you. You've cast all these famous TV shows to be like, actually, Vic, that blue goatee, he's perfect
Yeah.
for playing the part of Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. It's a remake, right? And so
Right.
the reason I say that is,
Okay.
you're not seeing it because there's so
Right.
the noise is so much now with all this ease of self-tape and the agents
Right.
that the actors aren't putting in their best efforts.
Right.
And then you're not getting the quality, and then the director's like, so it's really a weird time we're in right now.
I
with
know,
self-tapes.
and I guess like I have a different side of it. Like I have a different version of it, which is, obviously I love being in the room.
Yeah.
I love being in the room, and I miss it so much.
That's the chemistry, like
That's
you
the
said.
chemistry layout, and it's also kind of like too. It's a vibe check. Like I get to kind of vibe check them too, and see would I put them on set. Would I be comfortable putting them on set?
Let's talk about what does that mean? Because there are a lot of people watching.
Yeah.
You and I are talking. We're all talking up
right,
here.
Right.
And
I guess
because we know, but
because and this goes back to even to what you were saying is like for a personal standpoint is an audition is a job interview. An audition is a job interview.
100%.
And that's just kind of what it is.
It literally is
a job interview.
So
a job interview.
I'm saying is with coming into audition and the vibe checking of it all is I always say, if you are prepared for an audition, if you come in prepared, you come in having done your due diligence, you come in dressed appropriately for that role, and you come in with a good attitude, then that's check for me. That is the vibe check. If you come in, I've had people come in who honestly still did a great take, but were rude to me, showed up late. I had them do one take because their one take they nailed it. And, they're like, well, why can't I do a second take? And I'm like, unfortunately, this is my profession.
Yeah.
And I, like I said, I'm rooting for you. Yeah. If you did that one take and I was like, wonderful, you nailed it. Great job. Good for you. And sometimes there is a one take and I go, I actually don't think you're going to be right for it. Like maybe I'll have them do it a second time anyways, just for, again, vibe checking. Can they pull this out? Maybe I'll give them a crazy direction. Can you go there? Yeah. And sometimes they do. So, that's the thing. But if you come in rude and you still do a great take, I'm still going to show you, but I'm also going to have that knowledge that you came in, you were rude to me as the associate casting director.
How are you going to treat others on set?
And
I always want to be that. So that's one thing I think about with self-tapes, but it's not that I'm like judging. Like obviously it's like my job is to technically judge, but it really is to just watch you showcase your talent and really just process it and see where that will fit in what they're looking for. So,
but you're right.
Yeah.
Going back to that point,
Yeah.
I'll circle back for 2 seconds and move on.
Yeah.
It's not you. It's not the director. It's not the actor. And I'm going to get all the hate from the agents, but I'm not going to say they're lazy. I'm just going to say they may not know sometimes. So they just send out
there's
this
so much.
casting
I can
to
only imagine.
and they
There's
spam
so
it.
much.
And instead of really the old days of having a manager or somebody and be like, no, I know Jade's perfect for this part. And then they call you and you're like, and then she comes in and blows you away. You're like, oh, now I get it. Where I think that's completely like kind of that whole that layer is gone with the self-tape.
I think
that's hard.
Yeah. I think it's because I think I've said this to you guys before is the relationship between an agent manager and an actor is so foreign to me. I am on the opposite end of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I am so like, I don't really know what happens.
Right.
when I release a breakdown, all I know is that actors are being submitted and then I go through those thousands of submissions and then send out the self-tape requests. And I will be very honest, like for me and the people I've worked with, anyone I've worked with, we watch every single self-tape. I've watched every single self-tape that has been submitted. Because
I feel like I need to drink more or something stronger because of hearing that.
It's
good to know though.
Like I just because unless you submit past the deadline, then sorry,
that's your own.
That's your own fault. I'm sorry, but I watch the self-tapes that are submitted.
You heard it here.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed.
Oh my God, I loved it.